You've talked about strategy, and um, of course, that's something that I'm thinking about all the time. Um, there's a word that comes up a lot more nowadays, I think, around allies and alliances. And I think that's quite an interesting approach, because it's not always direct collaboration where you've got people working together in a partnership, but it's how organizations and people can bounce off one another and help move in people in, shift them in different directions and show them different ways of doing things. Is that something that Black Lives in Music is working towards? Are you kind of building up those sorts of alliances?
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's it's a really fantastic observation and an understanding of that, because advocacy is at the core of our model. We are advocated for by a task force of leading Black musicians and Black industry music specialists, and it's so important that there can be a network, that there can be a collegiate approach to working together, collaborative, thinking, not always necessarily, as you say, working together, but thinking about the direction of travel and how you're going to get there. And if you might not be able to achieve a certain you know, part of that pathway, another organization may well be able to.
Yeah.
And I think, as I say, whether you're looking at orchestras on their own, that's fantastic. Wouldn't it be great if all orchestras started really having a meaningful conversation about how they look at auditioning, how they look at recruitment, and how they look at developing their communities? But beyond that, as has always been the age-old response, well, we can only work with what we've got. So, well, that's not quite true in terms of recruitment, in terms of looking at the wider staff team. But it might be slightly more true in terms of looking at young artists coming through. So that networking has to expand, not just within its own subsector, but it needs to look at its wider sector and looking at the different agencies that fit, actually feed in to this sector, and supporting them on their way. And if all of that can happen at every level, we can achieve together, and that's so important.
Yeah, I think that's a really positive note to finish on, Roger. And I know how challenging all of this is, but actually I do find it really exciting. I think what we're working towards could be just something very special, and I'm really pleased that our two organizations are working together on it.